Shalom, shalom, call halal, Yahweh Shem, Yahushua, Shem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect. I want to touch on this heavy prophecy going on with Russia. And the Lord is bad as far as, the bear going to sleep and various other things and waking back up. But just not just that, but bringing them, because you could go to sleep and wake back up with a whole different spirit on you. But the Lord is putting them in that old USSR spirit when he with Putin. Now, I mean, it gradually took some time to get him there after he woke up. But after Russia went to sleep, it took some time to get him there. But now, things is heating up, especially what's going on with Israel now. So as other players becoming more involved in the situation. So it says, this from LTR.com. It says the Kremlin's plan after capturing Ukraine will have involved attacking the Baltic states, right, which is Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, right, and was right upon the Baltic Sea. And those were once Soviet satellite countries, before 91 when the USSR dismantled. So that's why it's very important, to know the history. Because before then you had Gorbachev in office, and before the USSR dismantled, the promise was that NATO, because the reason why NATO was formed in 47, 48, around then, was to go against the USSR, because the USSR was so large and it had so many different players with it. So NATO was formed to combat the USSR. So what the kind of the deal was is all right, if the USSR break down into smaller republics, that NATO would no longer further extend east. And the West claimed this was never in writing, but James Baker and the rest of them devils, they know the deal. But they did continue to go east and take on other countries like Romania, the Baltics, Germany was going to reunite anyway. That was regardless. But the Baltics, Poland, just to name a few. And recently they tried to take the Ukraine, because in 2014, that's when Putin lost his puppet, and they threw Zelensky up in there. And once they threw Zelensky up in there, they basically was trying to grab the Ukraine and pull it up under NATO, basically surrounding Russia and moving further east towards Russia territory. So, but it says by attacking the Baltic states, Poland, and Eastern Europe. Oh, Romania was another one of them. Alaski Arestovich, that's how you say it, an advisor to the Ukrainian president office, said in Vilnius on Thursday. So the Globe designed was to take the Ukraine, after that collect Ukrainian resources and attack Eastern Europe, Baltic states, Poland. First of all, he said. So that's basically, putting Russia back in that old USSR spirit, and setting up the even if they don't call it that, because a lot of these other countries that the West is using, if they just using them as puppets, they really don't give a shit about them. If they get consumed by Russia, it's kind of oh, whatever, but at the end of the day, Putin is pushing the West further back west, because they was trying to move far east. So basically it's a whole big fight, over Europe, as far as the two superpowers and various other countries. But let me get this Ezekiel 38. It's the main precept. This is Ezekiel 38:1. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, which is who? Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesies against him. So that's what the land of Russia at, which were the Japhetic nations, because we're up in Europe. You know, the so-called white men are not Europeans. I mean, the real Europeans go back to the Japhites. You know, the Hawaiians, the Samoans, people of the South Pacific. They the actual real Europeans. When you even read it, check it out in Genesis, the 10th chapter. Right? The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Like even in Russia, you got the Tobol River, and prophesies against him, saying, Thus said the Lord God, Behold, I'm against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And now this the point, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. See, and the whole sleep, meaning because they went astray, because you had Gorbachev was the last president, the one with the shit stain on his head. If y'all know a little history, he was the last, Mikhail Gorbachev, he was the last president under the USSR. Then what? You had Boris Yeltsin coming in, and Boris Yeltsin kind of fucked Russia up. He stripped it for a lot of his resources. He was damn near pushing a democracy in there, and he was basically westernizing like Russia slowly, you know, and they had like a lot of the Western customs and culture going over there, you know. So that's when Putin came in 99, 2000. Putin came back in and he reversed all that bullshit Gorbachev was doing. Them Russian oligarchs, which was Amalek, they was bankrupting the country. Putin made them give a lot of that shit back. They took back Crimea. They strengthened ties with Iran, you know. So and you know, he's been fighting against NATO. You know, he put his puppet up in there, up in the Ukraine, but they had got him out of there through the election, and they put Zelensky up in there. You know, so and put hooks into their jaws. But turn thee back, meaning what? I would turn thee back to your old ways, setting up the USSR, which we just read. And all thy armies, horses, and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. A great company with thee. And guess what? Putin set up the BRICS. You know, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You know, he set up the BRICS nations, like to go against the West, because it's really hard to Babylon way over here and it's isolated. You got Canada above, and you also got Canada above, and you also got Mexico underneath, which are basically like allies. So, but what he's going to attack them is what? Financially, through the currency. So he set up the BRICS nations and strategically going against the West. So the war drums is beating on all levels, you know. Buckler and Shield, Persia, so the first Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shields and helmets. Gomer and all his band, the House of Togarmah, which is Turkey, the North Korea and all his bands, and many people with thee. So Turkey is even a part of NATO, but a lot of these NATO countries is going to break down. Now, I mean, splits, the Lord going to have splits happen, and they going to merge and join with Russia, you know, when it's all said and done. Because Putin, he had saved President Erdogan of Turkey. He had saved him from a coup. They had relations and ties and all that. And Putin, they had like one of the biggest army as far as soldiers on the soils of, not on the soils, but as far as NATO go. You know, so, hey, man, you know, that's heavy prophecy. I wanted to point that out, that the Lord actually brought them back from 91. So they was only really sleep like nine years. They was only, I would say, like a decade from Boris Yeltsin all the way to Vladimir Putin. So Yeltsin left, came in like 91, and Putin came in around 2000. So 9 or 10 years, like a decade, the bear was asleep. And like what, 10 represents perfection too, you know. So after that, you know, the Lord woke Russia up, and slowly but surely, like within the last 23 years, been bringing them back to that USSR state, going against the West, gearing up for World War III and gathering the other countries. So, which is beautiful. So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. Shalom. Yeah, Shalom.